do want to get to some simple use cases. Okay, so the first use case I said we would describe is kind of your basic 101 setting up an AWS account with IAM. So what do you get out of the box with an AWS account? You just get a root user. Don't ever use it. Use it to just get your account set up. Now, I'm not going to get into if you're using organizations and stuff like that. Just like totally simple to wrap your head around, you know, how to address IAM in the most simple role-based access control sort of way. So you're going to get a root user that can do everything. Obviously, that is a bad idea to ever use. It's like root on Unix, right? Don't do that. You should never do that. You kind of lock that away. So what you're going to do with that root user, I would argue, the first thing you want to do is think about, because you're going to use that root user to set up some initial accounts, unless you're using some other services that complicate this description. So think about what your users' categories, the groups are going to be, right? Because we're talking about role-based access control. And in the case of users, we're talking about human users, you know, human principals that are going to be acting against that cloud infrastructure environment. So some pretty normal ones would be like a group for developers, a group for the DevOps team who probably needs more access than, now you might be like us at Fugue where there is no distinction. Everyone is both. We're like you know, I came from AWS, it's the total ownership model and all that. But you might want some separation of concerns there. There are some great built-in policies in AWS, and I would argue using those where you can. So let's see here. Where did I lose them? Back over, here we go. So if you look at policies, you'll see stuff like security audit right here. You get that out of the box. So you might definitely consider using, and you can see this, if we go look at the policy versions, I suspect, yeah, it's on version 32, and I think this is going to be pretty long. Yep, fairly long. So you're going to go in here in groups and, you know, create some new groups. You know, developers. And then you're going to assign a policy to that group, and then you're going to put users in that group. And then you're going to stop using root. Okay? That's the like most basic way to do this. And it's a good way to start. This gets back to things like inline policies. You don't want inline policies. You want that indirection. And the reason for that is now if you have a mapping from the user to the group to the policy, when you change that policy, it's inherited by all those principles, okay? So you can do it the other way, but don't. That's one reason I told you it's because of policy management. Imagine if you had policies embedded in all these different places, how hard it would be to get your hands around, okay? So that's like the really basic version.